นะครับระหว่างท่านนายกรัฐมนตรีกับท่านประธานคณะกรรมการยุโรป We will start with a few words by Her Excellency the Prime Minister of Thailand, followed by the President of the European Commission, and then we'll take a few questions. ท่านนายกรัฐมนตรีจะกล่าวก่อนนะครับต่อด้วยท่านประธานคณะกรรมการยุโรปและอาจจะมี1 หรือ 2 คำถามนะครับ May I now invite the Prime Minister of Thailand to say a few words. Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen of the media, good afternoon. First of all, I would like to say some words that thank you for coming on a Sunday because today is Sunday. So let me welcome His Excellency President Barroso on the first official visit to Thailand by a President of the European Commission, a key institution of the European Union or EU. This year has been very important year for Thailand-EU relations, which span several decades. I had the pleasure of meeting EU representatives, most recently the President of the EU in New York in September. This growing context reflects two things. First is a strong commitment by the two sides to broaden and deepen their partnership to promote peace and prosperity based on our shared values of democracy, rule of law, and respect for human rights. Second is both Thailand and the EU are ready to continue to strengthen ties between ASEAN and the EU, as well as between Asia and Europe. This is natural for Thailand, given our century-long relations with many European countries and the present dynamic ties with EU member states and the European Commission. Furthermore, both President Barroso and I will soon be traveling to Vientiane to strengthen the Asia-Europe partnership at the 9th Asia-European meeting or ASEM, a process launched here in Bangkok since in year 1996. This foundation of close relations ensure that our discussions were fruitful, touching on all significant issues of common interest and concern. On the bilateral side, both sides expressed satisfaction that negotiations for a Thailand-EU Partnership Cooperation Agreement or PCA have made good progress. Also, most obstacles to comment on the negotiation for Thai-EU Free Trade Agreement (FTA) has been clear. I also invite EU investment in infrastructure projects and green industry in Thailand, where EU has good expertise. I was informed of the many significant steps taken by EU to address challenges in the Eurozone. I would like to reaffirm that Thailand's full confidence in Europe's ability to meet these challenges. I stress that Thailand's sustainable growth is linked to EU growth. This means that both Thailand and the EU should focus on enhancing their trade and investment to promote growth and employment for all. Indeed, with ASEAN become a community by 2015, there will be opportunity for EU to invest in ASEAN's single market and production base, with Thailand as a gateway. Thailand welcomes EU intention to work with ASEAN on connectivities and strengthen EU engagement with East Asia or as a whole. President and I also welcome growing activities between the private sector and our peoples, which will enhance our trade, investment, and support the tourism industry. In addition, we agree to explore further collaboration, including capacity building in areas as fighting human trafficking, transnational crimes, and money laundering, and in alternative renewable energy and green economy. Finally, on behalf of the government and people of Thailand, I extended my sincere congratulations on the EU receiving the 2012 on Nobel Peace Prize. I also thank President for his kind invitation for me to visit Brussels in the near future to strengthen further Thailand-EU relations. Ladies and gentlemen, let me say a few words in Thai for the Thai media. สำหรับการเยือนครั้งนี้นะคะก็ถือว่ามีความสำคัญยิ่งเพราะเนื่องจากว่าเป็นการเยือนประเทศไทยอย่างเป็นทางการครั้งแรกของท่านประธานคณะกรรมาการยุโรปของสหภาพยุโรปสำหรับไทยกับสหภาพยุโรปนั้นมีความสัมพันธ์ที่ใกล้ชิดกันมานานค่ะทั้งในเรื่องของการค้าการลงทุนความร่วมมือในสาขาต่างๆแล้วก็รวมถึงในเรื่องของการส่งเสริมการเชื่อมโยงระหว่างภูมิภาคไม่ว่าจะเป็นในกรอบของอาเซียนสหภาพยุโรปหรือกรอบของเอเชียยุโรปในเรื่องของการส่งเสริมการค้านั้นทั้งสองฝ่ายนะคะซึ่งเราได้หารือกันในความเป็นไปได้ที่จะเจรจา FTA ระหว่างกันและดิฉันได้ถือโอกาสนี้เชิญชวนสหภาพยุโรปมาลงทุนในไทยและอาเซียนในโครงการโครงสร้างพื้นฐานอุตสาหกรรมที่เป็นมิตรต่อสิ่งแวดล้อมเป็นต้นซึ่งนอกจากนี้ก็ทั้งสองฝ่ายก็ได้ตกลงที่จะเพิ่มความร่วมมือเพื่อต่อสู้กับอาชญากรรมข้ามชาติเช่นการค้ามนุษย์และการค้ายาเสพติดซึ่งถือว่าเป็นภัยคุกคามสำคัญของภูมิภาคอีกทั้งได้มีการประสานงานอย่างใกล้ชิดร่วมกันมากยิ่งขึ้นเพื่อที่จะช่วยกันในการลดช่องว่างด้านการพัฒนาและการบริหารจัดการภัยพิบัติในเวทีโลกด้วยสุดท้ายนี้นะคะดิฉันก็ได้แสดงความยินดีที่สหภาพยุโรปได้รับรางวัลในโนเบลสาขาสันติภาพในปีนี้ด้วยค่ะขอบคุณค่ะ Thank you for your attention.
I invite the President of the European Commission to say a few words. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, let me start by thanking Prime Minister Shinawatra for her warm welcome today. It is indeed a pleasure to meet you, Madam Prime Minister, and I'm grateful to visit your country, a country full of rich history, but also a nation that has its sights firmly set on an even stronger, prosperous future. I'm also honored to be the first President of the European Commission to visit Thailand. My presence here is a clear sign of the importance the European Union attaches to its relations with Thailand. We share common values. Our trade and investment relations are vibrant and growing, and Thailand enjoys a central role in this region. You are a true partner for the European Union, and your role in ASEAN is highly valued by us. Today we had a very open, friendly and fruitful exchange of ideas where we took stock of our bilateral relations and discussed ways to strengthen and deepen our ties. Our bilateral trade amounted in 2011 to almost 30 billion euros, around 45 billion US dollars, and the European Union is also an important investor in Thailand. But we can do much more. The fact is that there is huge untapped potential in our political, trade and economic relations. The conclusion of a partnership and cooperation agreement and a free trade agreement are privileged instruments to achieve our common aim of forging stronger ties. I look forward to the conclusion of the PCA and to the launch of negotiations on an ambitious and balanced FTA. During our conversation, I stressed the importance the European Union attaches to political stability in Thailand. I had the opportunity to congratulate the Prime Ministers and the government's leadership in national reconciliation efforts. You have achieved a great deal already, and I urge you to spare no efforts in this regard. Political stability is a key element for Thailand's future as a democratic and prosperous country and as a leader in this region. In this context, I also encourage the Prime Minister to continue her important role in the consolidation of Thailand's democratic system. I'm sure that all steps in this direction will further strengthen the country's open, tolerant and vibrant society. At our meeting, we also addressed some key regional issues. As you know, I just arrived from a visit to Myanmar. We are very pleased with the changes taking place there. We believe they create a new positive perspective for the development of Myanmar itself, for ASEAN, which Myanmar will chair in 2014, and also for overall relations of the European Union with this region. We know that Myanmar faces huge challenges, but the European Union stands ready to support the country. And as we discussed today, Thailand has also a clear interest in Myanmar's success and will cooperate closely together in supporting the political reforms and ethnic reconciliation underway. Finally, we discussed the crucial role Thailand can play and is playing in the region, particularly in ASEAN. Thailand can be an economic hub in this part of the world and politically can contribute to steer ASEAN towards common positions on global and regional issues. The European Union and ASEAN are natural partners. We want ASEAN to succeed, and we believe that a strong ASEAN will be good for the prosperity of Southeast Asia and for the stability of the wider region. Therefore, we count on Thailand, and Thailand can count on us to deepen regional integration in Asia. Indeed, the European Union is very much engaged in Asia. As Prime Minister just said, we'll travel tomorrow to Laos to attend the ASEM summit, and we are now developing further the very important relations, economic, but also political relations we have with Asia as a whole. And we believe this is very important also for the world. To conclude, let me once more thank Prime Minister for her warm and friendly welcome, for the quality also of our conversation today. Thank you for the kind words you have addressed to the European Union regarding the Nobel Peace Prize that we were so honored to receive. And we at the European Union value our strong ties with Thailand, and we look forward to agreeing soon on a partnership agreement and a free trade agreement, which will be the two foundations in which we can build a relation for this 21st century. I thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Madam Prime Minister and His Excellency, the President of the European Commission, will now take a few questions from the media. So please state your name and affiliation as you address the questions. Yes, please.
Are you expecting out of the ASEAN meeting this week? What are the key objectives do you see? And possibly I could address the same question to the Prime Minister also. What Thailand sees as the key objectives from the ASEAN meeting this week? Thank you.
Perhaps the President of the European Commission starts first. The question was first directed to you, Your Excellency.
Our main objective for this ASEM summit is the consolidation of the political dialogue with our partners from Asia. We believe Asia is becoming more important every day in terms of economic development. There is immense potential in the relationship between Europe and Asia. Europe is one of the most important partners of Asia in terms of investment and trade. In some cases, the first partner indeed. And so we want to discuss these issues with our Asian friends, namely what we can do together facing global challenges. So not only discuss the possibilities of trade and investment, but also the challenges in terms of stability and security in the region. These are, of course, important matters. We believe that this summit is an occasion to discuss this in an open way. If I may add a personal remark, I've been in several of these summits for many years, and my experience is that when the leaders are together, just them, in a very open discussion, we can address, including the most sensitive issues, in an open manner. That's what I really expect to happen now in this Vientiane summit, that we can address all these issues, and mostly how can we address together some global challenges that we have today in the world. And Asia and the European Union are, of course, extremely important partners for each other. We have seen also, in times of difficulties, how interdependent we are. How interdependent we are, for instance, in terms of trade and investment, and how the difficulties in one part of the our countries can affect the others. So this is basically the purpose of this summit. These summits are summits for political dialogue at the highest level. I believe the best thing we can have in these summits is not just to read prescripted speeches, but to have an interaction between the leaders on both sides, Europe and Asia, to see what we can do together to address these challenges that are becoming increasingly common. That's why I think, based on the preparations, I think we can expect a successful summit in Vientiane.
So, for my question, I think I doing support with Mr. President on the ASEM. ASEM will be only one floor to be collaboration between Asia and Europe. So I think this is a good mechanism and right time to use this venue to discuss on the collaboration. And I think in the cover of the ASEM, so we will talk about the difficulty of the economic, political, and also with the social and the culture. So I think from the role of Thailand, so we will reaffirm that we feel confident on the challenges, and we feel confident that Europe will be overcome of this situation, and we see this as an opportunity. If we can sit down and discuss together, we believe that we'll use this mechanism to drive the growth of the trade and the investment. And for the political, I think we can discuss on sit down and make sure that everything in under the region will become with a peaceful way and the securities. And beside that, I think we will address on the human rights and human trafficking. That will be the another threat that all the region needs to discuss and collaboration. So this is good for all. But for Thailand, in terms of the connectivities, will be another key role that we would like to extend and discuss, because we have the connectivities between among the ASEAN, and we believe that if we discuss, we can extend beside from ASEAN to Asia, and then will be the complement between Asia and Europe.
Thank you very much. And is there another question? Yes, please.
ก็สำหรับประเด็นเรื่องของ so I will talk in the question asked about how we discuss in terms of the FTA, right? ใช่ไหมคะ So the FTA, so I think the FTA, I think we are working very well, and we hopefully we can get the approval from the parliament next year. So after that we can be able to discuss, and we believe that with the FTA mechanism we think that in terms of the uncertainty of the crisis of the economic, so if we have this mechanism, will be more incentive between EU and Thailand to have increase more in the product-based basic, and then can use this as a benefit to increase the trading.
Thank you very much. I believe that concludes, that's the end of the questions. This concludes the joint press conference. For your information, a joint press statement has been issued in English with an unofficial Thai translation, and this will be circulated at an appropriate time. Thank you very much for your attention. This concludes the press conference. Thank you.
Thank you.
Which way are you going now? Left?
Oh, okay.